listening to
Everyday.
Listen to Vaughan Radio.
You're listening to Vaughan Radio.
Tune in every day.
Vaughan Radio.
Speaking with confidence with Ale.
Hello, and welcome back to Speaking with Confidence. I'm Alejandra, and this is your hour to practice English with me, step by step and without pressure. How do we do that? We build the language little by little. We start with a little bit about life every day. We learn the words we need. We look at the grammar that helps us speak more clearly, and then we practice until it feels natural. A few days back, we talked about balance. If you were here, you probably remember. We talked about the middle ground, el punto medio. Y hemos dicho que la vida no siempre no siempre se vive, o no siempre se la vive de un extremo a otro, right? We said that life is not always about extremes. Not everything is amazing, not everything is terrible. Not every day is perfect. And also not every problem is impossible. We also said that things are simply pretty good, quite useful, fairly easy. And that kind of language is important because it helps us sound natural. It helps us sound balanced. It helps us describe life as it really is. And today, we are going to look at the other side. The other side. Because sometimes something really does stand out. Sometimes a day is not just good, it's the best day of the year. And sometimes a decision is not just difficult, it's the most difficult decision you've ever made. Maybe a person is not just kind. They're one of the kindest people you know. And maybe a mistake is not just bad. It feels like the worst mistake of your life. And that's what we're going to practice today, superlatives. And we use superlatives when we want to talk about the number one thing in a group, in a place, in a period of time, or in our experience, our feelings, life, situations in life. So today we're not just going to be comparing two things. We are choosing the one that stands out. Vamos a escoger aquel momento, aquella situación, aquel lugar, etcétera, que resalta, aquel que destaca. But remember, should we still be balanced? Yes. But when something is truly special, truly difficult, or truly beautiful, truly memorable, English gives us a way to say it clearly. So let's talk about the best, the worst, the easiest, hardest, and the most memorable moments in life. So get ready and let's begin today's lesson. So before we go into the grammar, let's practice some useful words. Because, as I said, when we talk about superlatives, we often talk about moments, people, places, and experiences that stay in our mind. The best part of a trip, the hardest challenge, the proudest achievement. So let's look at the words that will help us describe those things that stand out. First word today is highlight. Highlight, and this is a noun. Let me spell that word for you. It's H-I-G-H L-I-G-H-T, highlight. And what is this? What does it mean? It means the best or most exciting part of something. That's the highlight, a highlight. In Spanish, lo mejor, o el mejor momento, el que destaca. How can we use it? We can say, the highlight of the weekend was the sunset by the sea. The highlight of the weekend was the sunset by the sea. All right, highlight. Our next word, this is a completely new word as well. It's milestone. Milestone. And I'll spell that for you. M-I-L-E-S-T-O-N-E. Milestone. And this is a noun, and it means an important moment that shows progress or shows change. But this moment is very important. It's a moment you won't forget. Es un momento que marca, un hito, un momento importante. That's what it means, un hito, milestone. How do we use it? Finishing my first course in English was a real milestone for me. Finishing my first course in English was a real milestone for me. Very good. All right. Next word is achievement. Achievement. And you are familiar with this word, achievement. This is a noun. And an achievement is something good you complete after putting in a lot of effort. Something you've completed, something you've reached after putting in a lot of effort. So this in Spanish is logro. Un logro. Achievement. How can we use it? Passing the exam felt like a huge achievement. Passing the exam felt like a huge achievement. All right. Next word is challenge. Challenge. And this is also a noun. And a challenge is something difficult that tests your ability. Something difficult that tests your ability. And in Spanish, this is desafío or reto. Speaking in public was a big challenge at first. Speaking in public was a big challenge at first. Well, think about these sentences, these example sentences that I'm using. Are they true for you? Are they true or are they false? What do they mean to you? Speaking in public was a big challenge at first. This is absolutely true for me. It was a big challenge at first, at the beginning, when I started speaking in public. Then I got used to it. But of course, I still feel it as a challenge. Every time I have to do this, speak in public, it feels like a challenge. It is. All right. Next word is memory. Memory. And this is a noun. And a memory is something you remember, right? Something you remember from the past. So this in Spanish is recuerdo as a noun. Recuerdo. It also means memoria. Memoria. Pero en este contexto, la forma en cómo vamos a utilizarlo es con este significado. Un recuerdo, a memory. The trip gave us some beautiful memories. The trip gave us some beautiful memories. All right, very good. Next word is rank. Rank. And this one is a verb. This is a verb now. And to rank is to put things in order from best to worst, biggest to smallest, and so on. Rank. And this in Spanish puede ser clasificar o ordenar. I can't rank my favorite songs. I love too many of them. I can't rank my favorite songs. I love too many of them. All right. Our next word is deserve. Deserve, and this is also a noun. And to deserve is to have earned something because of your actions or because of your effort. Deserve, to deserve. And this in Spanish is merecer. To have earned something because of your actions or effort. Merecer. After such a long week, you deserve a quiet evening. I would say you deserve a quiet weekend. After such a long and stressful week, you deserve a quiet evening. So think about it. Is it true for you or is it false? All right. And a final word today, also a verb, is outshine. Outshine. And this means to be better or more impressive than others. To be better or more impressive than others. Podría traducirse como eclipsar, destacar más que, outshine. So her final performance outshone everyone else's. Her final performance outshone everyone else's. Lo cual significa que su desempeño sobresalió, fue sobresaliente, destacó más que el del resto, que el de otras personas. So lo eclipsó. It outshone everyone else's. That's what it means to outshine, outshine. All right. Let me say these words one more time, and then we go ahead and you translate them. Okay, so the words are highlight, milestone, achievement, challenge, memory, rank, deserve, and outshine. So remember, the last three are verbs and the first five are nouns. All right, so I'm going to say these words in Spanish. I'm not going to keep the order, so do not rely on that. So the words are, listen carefully. If I told you reto or desafío, reto o desafío, challenge, very good. Hito, momento importante. Milestone, very good. Destacar más que otros. Eclipsar. Outshine. Outshine, excellent. Merecer. Deserve. Deserve. Logro. Achievement. Recuerdo. Memory. Clasificar, ordenar. Rank. Rank. All right, very good. Excellent. Those are our 8 words. So let me say them one last time so you remember what they are and how they sound, and because you're going to use them in our next section when we practice. So listen, highlight, milestone, achievement, challenge, memory, rank, deserve, and outshine. Very good. All right, now that you remember those words and we've defined them, let's begin with our practice. And let's start with definition check, and you have to guess the word. So listen to the definition and choose the correct word. All right, listen to this. This is something difficult that pushes you to try harder. This is something difficult that pushes you to try harder. What do you think that is? It is a challenge. A challenge. Very good. Every time you feel pushed To try harder than, you are challenging yourself, or you are being challenged. All right. Very good. And another one, this means to put things in order. For example, from favorite to least favorite. What would this be? To put things in order. One example is from favorite to least favorite. And that would be to rank. Rank is the word. R-A-N-K. Rank. Very good. This is something important you reach after time, after effort, or progress. Something important you reach after time, after effort, and after progress. And it's important in that moment of your life, and it'll stay like this for a very long time, if not forever. So this is a milestone. Very good. A milestone. Next one. This is the part of an event or experience of a situation that people usually remember. This is the part of an event, of an experience, of a situation that you will usually remember the most. This is the highlight. The highlight, the part of a moment that you will remember, or an event or an experience, the highlight, because you consider it to be the best moment or the best part of that experience. Highlight. All right. Next one. This means to be worthy. To be worthy of something because you worked hard or you behaved well. Well, this is something you will think. If you're a parent, you would think like this. And you will actually say it to your children. You behaved well. So, I think I just gave you the answer. You deserve a prize, right? Deserve, to be worthy of something because you worked hard, because you put a lot of effort into something. So, you deserve, this is to deserve something. All right, very good. Next one, listen to this. Something you managed to do successfully, especially after effort. This is something you manage to do successfully. And especially after, well, not just effort, after also putting in time, putting in effort, investing your emotions, investing your skill, everything. And you are finally there. You reach that point. And this is what? This is an achievement. An achievement. Very good. All right. And let's see. This means to shine more than others, or to be more impressive than the rest. More impressive than the rest. You would say outshine. To outshine. Right? To outshine, which is to be more impressive than the rest. Outshine. All right. Very good. And the last one is something that stays in your mind, something from the past that stays in your mind. What is this? And this is a memory. Very good. Memory. So we've used all our words. We've chosen the right meaning for each word. Now we are going to choose the best word, one of these, to complete the sentence. So listen carefully. Getting her first job in Madrid was big in her life. Getting her first job in Madrid was big in her life. So you've got three options: delay, habit, or milestone. And the right answer is milestone. Getting her first job in Madrid was a big milestone in her life. All right, it's not just any job, right? It's a job where? In Madrid. So this has got to be important for this person, and it can be considered a milestone. Next, I don't want to, my friends, but I think Anna gave the strongest presentation. I don't want to, my friends, but I think Anna gave the strongest presentation. Is it deserve, outshine, or repair? I don't want to outshine my friends, but I think I gave the strongest presentation. I don't want to outshine my friends, but I think I gave the strongest presentation. All right, very good. Next one. Moving to a new country can be a real, especially at the beginning. Moving to a new country can be a real, especially at the beginning. Challenge, majority, or memory. So what do you say? Let's see. Challenge is the right answer. Let's see how it sounds. Moving to a new country can be a real challenge, especially at the beginning. Very good. And let's do one more. You worked all weekend. You really a break. You worked all weekend. You really a break. What is it? You really what? Rank, notice, deserve a break. You really deserve a break. Yes, that is correct. And I would like to practice with this word. Listen to this. Can you, these restaurants from 1 to 5, can you, these restaurants from 1 to 5, and you've got rank, accept, or belong. Can you rank these restaurants from 1 to 5? Very good. That's the right answer. And how about I ask you something? Tell me, what was the highlight of your week? And while you think about that, use the right structure. What was the highlight of your week? The highlight of my week was, and you would say, what's in your mind? How about this one? What is one achievement you are proud of? What is one achievement you are proud of? You can say, one achievement that I am proud of is, all right, very good. How about, what challenge helped you grow? What challenge helped you grow? And then you can say, so-and-so helped me grow. All right, very good. And if I asked you, what memory from childhood do you still remember clearly? What memory from childhood do you still remember clearly? Do you remember anything? I know Dan wouldn't remember anything. All right, next one. Do you think effort always deserves recognition? Do you think effort always deserves recognition? What do you think about this? I don't think it does. I don't think it always deserves recognition. I think for a lot of the things that we do in life, effort is required 100%. And we shouldn't we shouldn't look for recognition. It's just how things are, right? I don't know. Tell me what you think. Can you rank your top 3 favorite movies? Can you rank your top 3 favorite movies? What would it be? If you could. All right. Let's build a sentence, just one, before we go on a break. So I'll give you 4 or 5 words. Was the music highlight? Can you build a sentence with that? Was the music highlight? Well, my sentence is, the music was the highlight. And I would add something else. The music was the highlight of the restaurant. Not the food, but the music was. The music was the highlight of the restaurant. All right, very good. So, what are we going to do now? We're going to go on a break, a very short break. Remember that you can keep practicing with us if you listen to all our other programs on Vaughan Radio. Okay, so stay with us, and after the break we'll come back with today's grammar. Superlatives, the best, the worst, the easiest, the hardest, and the most memorable. Right? Remember that you can also find us on Instagram and also other podcast platforms. I'll see you in just a bit.
Esto lo que oyes.
You're listening to the right radio. You're listening to Vaughan Radio.
You're listening to Vaughan Radio.
Estas vacaciones, haz un viaje para tu inglés. Con los cursos intensivos semanales de Vaughan, mejora tu inglés durante cualquier periodo vacacional. Navidad, Semana Santa, verano, tú decides cuándo. Una semana para mejorar tu fluidez. Gana confianza al hablar. Aprovecha tu tiempo libre al máximo. Y lo mejor es que puedes reservar tu curso desde ya para asegurarte tu plaza en el momento que prefieras. No dejes pasar la oportunidad de avanzar en tu inglés estas vacaciones. Entra en grupovaughan.com/intensivos y contrata tu semana intensiva hoy mismo, porque tu inglés también merece unas vacaciones.
Mommy, Daddy, these summer English books are so much fun.
¿Quieres que este verano tus hijos repasen inglés de forma divertida? Tenemos justo lo que necesitas. Llega Summer English. Listen, practice, learn. La nueva colección de cuadernos de Vaughan para niños de primero a sexto de primaria. Con juegos, gramática, vocabulario, audios y actividades online. Todo al más puro estilo Vaughan. Ya disponibles en vaughantienda.com y librerías seleccionadas. Este verano, aprender inglés será su plan favorito.
¿Quieres mejorar tu inglés sin complicaciones? Vaughan Inglés 4.0 es el curso de inglés más completo en formato audio, con casi 600 clases desde cero hasta nivel avanzado. Paso a paso, donde y cuando quieras. Claro, práctico y eficaz. Gramática, vocabulario, pronunciación y sobre todo, resultados. Busca nuestro podcast Vaughan Inglés 4.0 en iVoox.
Este verano, ¿quieres que tus hijos se diviertan, vivan 1000 aventuras y además ganen fluidez en inglés, rodeados de naturaleza y con los mejores monitores angloparlantes Vaughan? Tráelos a nuestro Vaughan Summer Camps, con cabañas, actividades acuáticas, multiaventura, nuevos amigos y entornos increíbles donde aprenderán a resolver situaciones cotidianas en inglés sin darse cuenta. Más de 3.000 niños viven nuestras inversiones cada año. Encuentra tu mejor Summer Camp sin salir de España. Contrata tu mejor camp.
Come to learn with us at Vaughan.
¿Te apuntas?
En Vaughan Town hay un antes y un después. El antes es inseguridad, titubeo, fastidio. El después es confianza, convicción y arrojo. Y esto en solo 6 días.
El mayor ambiente lingüístico jamás creado, con la mayor variedad de acentos nativos nunca antes reunidos. Vaughan Town, el pueblo anglo de Vaughan. Vaughan Town. Rechaza imitaciones. Infórmate en el 911335833.
Vaughan Town. Cambia tu inglés ya.
Encuentra todos los libros de nuestros presentadores de radio en las tiendas Vaughan. Nosotros te ayudamos a encontrar el libro perfecto para ti, para todos los niveles y edades. También encontrarás libros de alemán, francés y mucho más. Estamos en calle Orense 75, en Madrid, o en nuestras 6 delegaciones por España. Ven a vernos o visita vaughantienda.com. Vaughan, Learn English.
Escúchanos en cualquier momento y en cualquier lugar. Descarga la app de Vaughan Radio.
You are listening to Everyday.
Listen to Vaughan Radio.
You're listening to Vaughan Radio.
Tune in every day.
Vaughan Radio.
Speaking with Confidence with Ale.
Welcome back to Speaking with Confidence. I'm Ali, and before the break, we have been talking about the moments that stand out in our lives. And before we move into the grammar, here's a small fact about memory. Your brain, my brain, everyone's brain, el cerebro de todos, doesn't remember every moment in the same way, and doesn't remember every moment of life completely. O sea, nuestro cerebro no recuerda, por un lado, todos los momentos en la vida por completo, ni tampoco los recuerda de la misma manera. Very ordinary moments can disappear quickly from our memory, but moments that are emotional, surprising, funny, difficult, or somehow special, they usually stay with us for much, much longer, if not until we die. Esos momentos normales que pueden olvidarse rápidamente, pero aquellos momentos que son emocionales o sorprendentes o incluso difíciles son los que se quedan más tiempo con nosotros. Think about it. Ponte a pensar. We often remember the best meal of a trip or the worst day of your summer vacation, or the other way around, the best day of your summer vacation, the funniest comment at dinner, or the most beautiful place we visited, right? ¿Por qué te acuerdas de esos momentos? ¿Por qué los recuerdas? Precisely because those were really moments that stick out or stand out. So in English, superlatives help us talk about those moments in a very clear way. Not just good, the best. Not just bad, the worst. Not just difficult, the most difficult. And that's exactly what we're going to practice today in our grammar section. So let's begin. All right. In Spanish, this idea of superlatives, the biggest, or interesting, the most interesting, or good, the best, puede traducirse como el más, la más, el mejor, la mejor, el peor o la peor. Pero hay que recordar algo sobre los adjetivos en inglés. Tenemos los adjetivos cortos, short adjectives, y también tenemos los largos, long adjectives. Okay, so let's begin with the first type of adjectives, the short adjectives. All right, so what do we do with short adjectives? Short adjectives, cuando hablamos de adjetivos cortos, tenemos que pensar de adjetivos con 2 sílabas, de 1 a 2. Y cuando los encontramos y los utilizamos, los superlativos, para convertir este adjetivo en un superlativo, tenemos que añadir 3 letras al final de cada adjetivo. Y estas letras son EST. So we usually add est to the adjective. So like this: small, the smallest; fast, the fastest; long, the longest. ¿Qué más? Cold, the coldest. And all these adjectives, all four, are very short, very small. They're one syllable: small, fast, long, cold. All right. So for example, this is the smallest room in the house. Or Monday was the hottest day of the week. Or he is the fastest runner in the group. All right. Now, you also have to be careful with the spelling, because sometimes before we add est, we need to double the final consonant of some adjectives. So for example, hot, the hottest with double T, H-O-T-T-E-S-T. So the hottest. How about another one? Big. What do you think? The biggest. B-I-G-G-E-S-T. All right. So why? Because short adjectives like hot and big, they have that pattern: consonant, vowel, consonant. And so we double the last consonant before adding the est. All right. So remember that. It helps keep the short sound of the vowel: biggest, hottest. All right. Okay. So, but not every adjective, not every short adjective doubles the final consonant either. So you have to remember and pay attention to which ones do add the additional consonant. For example, cold, we don't add an additional consonant there. Long or fast either. It's just one consonant in the middle. Coldest, longest, fastest. Okay? You just add est. Solamente añadimos el est. And there's one more thing that you have to keep in mind and pay attention to. When an adjective ends in y, for example, like easy, what we do is we usually change y to I and then add est. Intercambiamos la y por una y recién añadimos est. Por ejemplo, como te decía, easy, fácil, and it's spelled E-A-S-Y. So what do we do next? We replace the Y with an I, the easiest, E-A-S-I-E-S-T. Happy, the happiest. All right? Busy, the busiest. What do? We replaced Y, the letter Y, with an I. Okay? So this is the easiest exercise today. And you have to watch your spelling. So all this for short adjectives. But when it comes to long adjectives, what do? We add an extra word before the adjective. We don't add est at the end of the adjective. No añadimos un est al final del adjetivo. Lo que hacemos en vez es añadirle una palabra antes del adjetivo. Y como es un superlativo, como estamos hablando de superlativos, la palabra que añadimos es most. So, the most plus the adjective. Cuando se tratan de adjetivos que llevan más de 2 sílabas. Por ejemplo, beautiful, that's 3 syllables. So what would you say? The most beautiful. Important, the most important. enjoyable. Enjoyable. That's 4 syllables. The most enjoyable. Or difficult. That's 3 syllables. The most difficult. All right? Why do we add an extra word? It sounds even longer, right? But that's just how English works. We're not going to add est at the end of long adjectives. What we're going to do is we're going to add most before the adjective. Always most. Siempre most para destacar, para intensificar ese adjetivo, la potencia de ese adjetivo. Most y el adjetivo. All right? Así potenciamos y enfatizamos en la cualidad de lo que estamos describiendo. Okay, so we're not going to say, no añadimos el est porque sonaría the beautifulest y no, es incorrecto. En inglés añadimos the most before the adjective when we're talking about superlatives, all right? So, for example, that was the most difficult question in the test. That was the most difficult question in the test. So we added most to difficult, right? How about this one? This is the most comfortable chair in the room. This is the most comfortable chair in the room. ¿Qué hemos añadido? ¿Qué estoy diciendo? Esta es la silla más cómoda de la habitación o en la habitación. Pero ese más cómoda en inglés, the most comfortable chair in the room. All right? Okay, so there are some irregular superlatives. For example, good, bad, and far. ¿Por qué son irregulares estos adjetivos, good, bad, and far? Because they change completely. So if we look at good, the superlative will be the best. What about for bad? It will be the worst with a T at the end. And how about far? Far, the furthest or the farthest. All right? Cambia por completo ese adjetivo para convertirse en un superlativo. Entonces se vuelve irregular. All right? For example, that was the best meal of the trip. It wasn't just good, it was the best meal of the trip. This is the worst traffic of the week. The worst traffic of the week. All right? Okay. Another rule when we talk about superlatives, we normally say the best. So we add or we use the to describe that thing, that place, that emotion, etc. The best, the worst, the biggest, the most, porque estamos enfatizando en aquello que estamos describiendo. The most important. So this is the best idea. That was the worst part. She is the kindest person here. All right? And however, we can also use my, your, his, her, possessive pronouns. For example, my youngest sister lives in London. Or her biggest achievement was starting her own business. Estamos haciendo suyo esa cualidad de esa cosa, situación, etcétera, aquello que estamos describiendo. Her most important meeting is tomorrow. That's why we're using possessive pronouns, okay? So we can use them with my, your, his, her, our, their. Okay, very good. And one more thing that I want to remind you is, well, you have to think if it's a superlative or a comparative. All right? Remember, a comparative is when we compare two things, cuando comparamos dos cosas. This hotel is cheaper than that hotel. All right? But when we use a superlative, when we use a superlative, we choose the number one in our group. For example, this is the cheapest hotel in the area. So we use a superlative when we choose the number one in a group. This is the cheapest hotel in the area. This is not just a hotel cheaper than that other hotel. This is the cheapest hotel in the area. So let me try with another example. Anna is more patient than me. Anna is more patient than me. This is a comparative. I'm comparing myself to Anna. Anna is more patient than me. But now, superlative, listen, Anna is the most patient person in the office. The most patient person in the office. So what did we do? We added the most patient, right? And as a comparative, we also added an additional word to the adjective, but that word is more. So for comparatives, it's more patient. Superlative, the most patient. All right? All right, that's it. And the last thing that you have to remember is in or off. So after superlatives, we often use in with places, groups, or organizations. The best restaurant in the city, the youngest student in the class, the quietest room in the hotel. But we use of with periods of time or life experiences. This is very important. For example, the busiest day of the week, the happiest moment of my life, the worst mistake of the year. All right. So in a place or group or a period of time or experience. Okay. You have to remember that. In for place or group, of when we talk about a time period or experience. Okay? All right. Very good. So now that we've got those covered, we got those points covered, let's begin with our practice. Let's begin with our grammar in action. All right? So let's begin with translations. Okay, here we go. Este fue el mayor reto del mes. Este fue el mayor reto del mes. So what would you say? This was the biggest, useful word here, the biggest challenge del mes. It's a time period, so, or time reference. So then what are we going to use? What preposition of the month? This was the biggest challenge of the month. Very good. Ella merece la mejor oportunidad. Ella merece la mejor oportunidad. Another useful word, merece. So she deserves, very good. She deserves the best opportunity. She deserves the best opportunity. Perfect. Siguiente, ese fue el recuerdo más bonito del verano. Ese fue el recuerdo más bonito del verano. Aquí el orden en inglés es al revés. Adjetivo primero y después sustantivo. So, how are we going to do this? That was the most beautiful memory of the summer. That was the most beautiful memory of the summer. All right, very good. Memory is our useful word today. Let's do another one. Es uno de los logros más importantes de su vida. Otra vez, una experiencia de vida, ¿no? Uno de los logros más importantes de su vida. Entonces, la preposición que vas a utilizar, piensa. It's one of the most important achievements of his life. Of his life. It's one of the most important achievements of his life. The most important because it's got more than 2 syllables. Most important achievements, useful word of his life. Very good. Question. ¿Cuál fue el momento más destacado del viaje? ¿Cuál fue el momento más destacado del viaje? You ready? What was the biggest highlight of the trip? What was the biggest highlight of the trip? El más destacado, the biggest. Very good. And what do we do to big? Biggest. We added an additional G. Right? Big with double G. Biggest. Highlight of the trip. Highlight word, useful word. Very good. Este es el camino más corto al museo. Este es el camino más corto al museo. Más corto, pero corto en inglés es un adjetivo corto también. So, what's the translation? This is the shortest way to the museum. This is the shortest way to the museum. Shortest. Short with only one T, solo una T. Alright? And the last one, fue la decisión más difícil del año. Fue la decisión más difícil del año. You ready? It was the most difficult decision of the year. Why of? Because we're talking about a period of time, right? There's a time reference in our sentence. So it was the most difficult decision of the year. Very good. Excellent. All right, now let's move on to, you have to correct choose the correct option. You have to choose the correct option. So I'll give you the options and you complete the sentence. This is the room in the flat. This is the room in the flat. So is it small, smallest, most small? What would you say? Small or smallest or most small? The smallest. This is the smallest room in the flat. All right, very good. That was the story I've heard today. That was the story I've heard today. Is it funniest, most funny, or funnier? Remember, today is all about superlatives. So it's the one that stands out. The number one of the group. Okay? So that was the funniest story I've heard today. Very good. And let's try another one. This is the part of the project. This is the part of the project. Is it more important, importantest, or most important? This is the more important part of the project, or this is the importantest part of the project, or this is the most important part of the project. The correct answer is most important. Why? Because we're working on superlatives. It wasn't just more important, it was the most important. All right, and finally, that was the mistake in the report. That was the mistake in the report. So that was the worst, or badder. So let's see. That was the worst mistake in the report. That was the worst mistake in the report. Or that was the badder mistake in the report. Well, badder is incorrect. Why? Because this is an irregular adverb. So, is the correct one worse? I'm sorry, irregular superlative. Is the correct one worse or worst? Because it's a superlative, it cannot be worse. It has to be worst because That's what makes it stand out, right? Out of the group. That was the worst mistake in the report. It wasn't just the worst, it was the worst. No simplemente fue un error, un mal error. Fue el peor error. Okay? All right. Now, you have to think, is it superlative or comparative? All right. You have to complete the sentence with the correct form. All right. So the exam is than the last one. Are we comparing in the sentence? This exam is than the last one. Use hard. This exam is harder than the last one. So that is a comparative. All right. So this week, try to notice one thing, the best part of your day, the most useful word you learned, or the nicest moment you had. All right. Thank you for joining me today on Speaking with Confidence here on Vaughan Radio. Coming up next is the Lunchtime Show. Have a lovely day, and I will see you tomorrow.
Estás escuchando Vaughan Radio.
Spanish for real, not just textbooks. Join the free Como Estas Masterclass and get a taste of a practical method designed to help people in the UK. Start speaking with confidence. Know someone who might be interested? Send them to comoestas.co.uk/masterclass.
Este verano, ¿quieres que tus hijos se diviertan, vivan 1000 aventuras y además ganen fluidez en inglés, rodeados de naturaleza y con los mejores monitores angloparlantes Vaughan? Tráelos a nuestro Vaughan Summer Camps. Hay 4 ubicaciones diferentes para que elijas tu mejor opción. Con cabañas, actividades acuáticas, multiaventura, nuevos amigos y entornos increíbles donde aprenderán a resolver situaciones cotidianas en inglés sin darse cuenta. Más de 3000 niños viven nuestras inmersiones cada año. Encuentra tu mejor Summer Camp sin salir de España. Ahora también en la playa. Llámanos al 917001199 y contrata tu mejor camp.
Come to learn with us at Vaughan.
¿Te apuntas?
¿Quieres un descuento en los cursos intensivos de inglés de Vaughan? Pues ahora es el momento. Puedes obtener un descuento de hasta 39%. Para más información sobre este descuento u otros, pásate por nuestra web, grupovaughan.com.
Mommy, Daddy, these summer English books are so much fun.
¿Quieres que este verano tus hijos repasen inglés de forma divertida? Tenemos justo lo que necesitas. Llega Summer English. Listen, Practice, Learn. La nueva colección de cuadernos de Vaughan para niños de primero a sexto de primaria. Con juegos, gramática, vocabulario, audios y actividades online. Todo al más puro estilo Vaughan. Ya disponibles en vaughantienda.com y librerías seleccionadas. Este verano, aprender inglés será su plan favorito.
¿Quieres aprender inglés a tu propio ritmo y según tu horario? En Vaughan tenemos la solución perfecta para ti. Con las clases particulares online de Vaughan, disfrutarás de la máxima flexibilidad en tu aprendizaje del inglés. Tú eliges. ¿Prefieres centrarte en la conversación o en la gramática? No hay ningún problema. Con Vaughan puedes seleccionar la modalidad que más te convenga. Y no solo eso, sino que también tienes completa libertad para elegir el día, la hora y la duración